everybody. Welcome to Peaches and Power Bombs. I am Sarah Hirsch. My co-host Tina is not with us tonight, but I do have a very special guest with me. We used to write together for Daily DDT, and he has his own podcast called The Movie Council. Tim Sherry, thank you for joining us.
Very happy to be here. It's been a while. We had a couple of. There was one night I was going to do it, but I got stuck at work, and then there was another time you had like a hurricane come through.
It was something.
So we've been delayed a couple times, but I'm happy I'm here tonight. Ton to unpack. A lot. I mean, it's a big weekend coming up.
Yes, and of course, everybody knows it is WrestleMania week. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, this is probably like the first major week since the COVID outbreak. So, there's going to be a lot of people ready to get out there, have a good time, and just see some good wrestling all around. So, all right, let's see here. But we will talk about WrestleMania in just a minute. I want to go ahead and get this out of the way first. Last week, Triple H confirmed that the medical issue that was going around a few months ago, and he did confirm that he is retired. So basically, he had heart failure, and I heard it was a heart condition, but I wasn't expecting heart failure. So what was your take on that?
Yeah, he actually had done an interview, I believe, with Stephen A. Smith. He talked about it. He had about like a 99% blockage in one of his arteries. Like he was like fingertips away. I mean, it was really a dangerous situation. And yeah, it's I guess his dad had a heart condition. His grandfather, it runs in his family.
Okay.
It's sad and it isn't. He's 52 years old. He probably shouldn't be wrestling too many times anyways. But he's got, they got the defibrillator in, so that's a really good thing. My brother has one of those. So it really protects him if something happens. But I mean, this obviously wasn't a scenario where he was an unhealthy guy. He might be in the best shape of his life, like right now. The guy he and Stephanie both train like demons, and it's unfortunate that he can't come back and have like a special appearance every now and again and work a match. But he's 52 with that type of heart condition. It's best to just wrap it up.
Yeah, I agree. And all best wishes to him. I don't wish no harm on anybody. I hate I'm not really sad that he's retired. But I'm glad that they caught that in time, and we don't have any more tragic news going on. So I'm glad he confirmed that, and he seems to be doing pretty good. So that's good as well.
I would also suggest he not go back to any type of executive role within the WWE at the moment. That's that level of stress.
Ooh,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you think he's worried about money for the rest of his life? I mean, he's good. I obviously know he wants to work. He's 52. He's not old, I mean, per se, but I mean, the level of stress he must have been under when he was booking NXT. Couple that with dealing with Vince not only as a boss but as your father-in-law.
Yeah,
probably not an easy time for the guy, but but I do feel bad. I was always a big fan of Triple H. I know he was never the guy that drew the money. He was never the star, but he was always the guy that worked with the star. Like he had great programs with Austin, great programs with The Rock, great. Oh my God, remember that program with Foley? That was just wild. And obviously the stuff with Michaels. I mean, Taker twice at Mania. The guy really was just a consummate professional, always in shape, always ready to go. Obviously nursed some really horrific injuries in his career, but I always loved the game, man. I was always tuning in for that guy. Always cut a great promo as well. Always liked him. So
even though it took 20 minutes, I guess.
Oh my God, yeah. We get a little grandiose. That would go long, and sometimes you'd be sitting there going, "Where is he going with this?" And he'd eventually get there, usually. But I don't know, big fan. Too bad for the guy.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm like you. You can't deny the impact he made. I mean, he has quite the legacy that he left, you know, and I would say he was more like a cornerstone. Because a lot of people refer to like the Undertaker as a cornerstone, and I think Triple H is definitely like that too. And yeah, I mean he's had some great feuds, like you said, and then you know he had NXT was like his baby, so
NXT was actually good when he was still
yeah
in charge of it. So
yeah,
I can't really speak to that now, but.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'll also say about the guy, as a booker in NXT, from everything I've heard, and the way he worked with the guys behind the scenes, everyone loved him. I mean, like he's a cutthroat guy. That's the business. It always has been. But he had such a great mind for the business too. He understood it. He got it. He wasn't about like all the flash and all that. He just really understood the business at its core and how to draw fans and how to make people care. And he really, I mean, if WWE Mount Rushmore was 10 people, he'd probably be on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Triple H had that mindset. So yeah, I agree. Tina left us a comment.
Oh no.
I see Tim will come on when I'm gone. I see.
yeah, she's not wrong. No, I'm sad she's not here. I was like, yeah, next time.
Yeah. She got a lot going on, and we wish her the best and hope she feels better. Okay, so we got Triple H out of the way. That was obviously big news. Heart condition we knew was serious, but we didn't realize how serious it was. Excuse me. So, so we're going to get into WrestleMania card and predictions.
Here we go.
Yes. Let's see. Let me pull up my card here. And
I will try to be just fair warning. I'll try to be as nice as possible about some of the things going into this card. I'm gonna be tame. I promise.
Hey Shannon, how you doing? Thank you for coming. She's one of our regulars here on the show.
Nice.
So I'm gonna pull this up. It might look like I'm spaced out or whatever, but day one we will go. I'm going to go through this. All right. Day one, Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. This has pretty much been going on since SummerSlam. I didn't like what happened at SummerSlam. I would have felt better if she did the disarmer and then won, but she didn't. But I mean, Becky's just awesome, but yeah.
She got pinned in 30 seconds. I mean, it was just horrendous booking. I just...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think Bianca could be getting it back, but we all know that Becky Lynch was on a roll, and if she didn't get pregnant, she would have still been champion throughout. So,
yeah.
So I definitely think Bianca Belair could possibly take it. So there's that.
So I'll tell you this. Now that I'm looking, I don't think I've really thought through my winners. So you're going to hear the whole thought process each match, I think, because I haven't really thought about this yet. So yeah. I will say I think Becky wins this. Okay. And only because I feel like, and this isn't any fault of Bianca Belair, because she's a true talent, but her booking has been horrendous pretty much since she won the title at WrestleMania. I mean, she hasn't done anything really interesting. That nonsense at SummerSlam with Becky. And then since then, it's been kind of meh. She has no momentum, really. Again, not her fault, but I don't know. I just think Becky holds on to it. I think after WrestleMania, Becky will have a lot of storylines in place. Unless there's something personal going on, I don't think there's any way Becky Lynch doesn't keep the belt here.
Okay. That's fair. Let's see here. I was going to say something and completely lost my thought. Not your fault or anything. But yeah, poor Bianca. I think she's extremely talented, and I definitely think she should not have lost the title, but
not like that, at least. I mean,
no.
God.
Well, it's like I said, I'd have felt better if it was the Disarmer, so.
I would have felt better if it was like a 15-minute match and then she lost. I get it. It was shock value. Becky's back. I get it to a degree, but I also don't get it.
Yeah.
But we're in that situation now, so.
This is what WWE does best. I know what I was going to say now. I've been on like a Raw break, like WWE break a little bit, so I'm not behind, but I do try to keep up. So, anyways,
I don't blame you. Let me tell you something. If you did not watch Raw from last night, don't, because I can tell you that was literally the worst go home Raw before WrestleMania I've ever seen. Nothing happened. They just did like Zoom interviews all night. They just kept talking to each other from the Titantron all night. It was just Roman Reigns, who's clearly not only the biggest star of the show, but the biggest star in the business, shows up 15 minutes before the show ends. So that's just completely phony because he's probably been at the arena since 2 p.m. The whole thing was just silly and horribly written. So,
I thought he looked good in his tracksuit.
he literally always looks good. Like there is nothing, just constantly.
Look, I watched his promo before I came on here,
and
I gotta say, I mean, man, he has really come a long way. He really has.
Do you know what it is? He's one of the few guys that doesn't get his promos scripted for him. He does his do you notice that the best promo guys in the business are the ones who are just speaking from the heart, and all the guys who are doing this recited stuff that they've memorized from a script is terrible. And Reigns is having by far the most fun of his entire career.
Oh God, yeah.
He's been incredible. All of us have been screaming for a heel turn for years, and they finally did it, and it's been brilliant. Yes. And he's so comfortable in the role too. And pardon my French, but he seems just very comfortable with being an asshole. Like it just comes off. So it's just, wow, that's really impressive. So I love it. I was so down on Reigns for so long, and again, not his fault. I hated his booking, but this whole thing, he's like a borderline, he's like a psycho, but he's also like a sociopath and a narcissist. And it's just, and he's insecure, and it's just brilliant. It's been great.
Mm-hmm. I wholeheartedly agree. And like I said, I enjoyed that promo last night. So the next match on here, The Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios. Yeah. I'm happy for Ray and Dominic. They'll probably get a WrestleMania moment together. So I'm really happy for them. They better.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Logan Paul, and then you got Johnny Knoxville in a match too. And I'm just like, do we really need these guys? Right. I say this because as of this show, as of this live tonight, there is no match for the Intercontinental Championship, and there is no match for the United States Championship.
Nope.
That could have went to them.
2 of your biggest stars too. I mean, especially Balor. I mean,
exactly.
How do those guys make it on the card and Finn Balor doesn't? I mean, that's insane to me. Okay. I'm taking it easy right now. We got a long way to go here. I'm not going to get too angry right now, but it's silly. And can I just say one thing about this matchup? The one thing I found kind of comical was the night Logan Paul came out, when the Miz introduced him. For a minute, everybody thought it was going to be Cody, and then Logan Paul. Yeah, remember? He kind of had me for a minute. I'm not going to lie. Logan Paul comes out, and he's in the ring with these guys. The 4 of them are in the ring. And Logan Paul looked the most like a professional wrestler of the 4 of them. He's the biggest. He's taller than all of them. He's in unbelievable shape. I mean, say what you want about him. I'm not the biggest fan of either of those guys, but they work out hard. They look good. They take their fitness seriously. And he's a big kid. When he boxes, he's boxing. I think he fights at, I want to say either cruiserweight, like 195 or 205. He's in that. He's a big kid. Obviously, we're all bigger than Ray, but he was much bigger than Dominic. And I'm sitting there watching him is this guy? It's his first night. Like he looked like the wrestler, and he's actually said he's had interest in becoming a wrestler. I actually have no problem with that. He can talk. He's in good shape. He's a good looking kid. Yeah. I don't see a problem with it. But again, not the biggest fan of either of those guys. But yeah, it's silly. But I think it'll be quick, and I think Ray and Dominic are going to take that one. They better.
Yeah. And I was going to say too. I think Logan Paul did something last year. I think it was with Sami Zayn, believe it or not. I can't remember. But yeah, so this is not his first run in. So I'm not too entirely upset about it. But at the same time, I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ray and Dominic, I'm ready to see what they come up with for their entrance. And I hope for an awesome moment with those guys. So
I will assume the entrance will probably be the best part of the match. Is my expert guess here. So
yep. Okay, the next match is Seth Rollins versus the mystery opponent. They had this long segment last night.
Yeah.
Where he's in Vince's office and Seth is being this obnoxious cheese ball.
Yeah.
And but yeah,
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the whole thing. I'm not. He's funny, but like the whole thing is just it got old fast.
Yeah,
really fast.
So Vince tells him that he will be at WrestleMania, and he's not going to know who his opponent is until he is in the ring. So that brings up this: will Cody Rhodes be Seth Rollins' mystery opponent?
He better be at this point. I mean, he has signed. I'm pretty sure that's official that he signed, right?
Well, nobody really confirmed it, but all the dirt sheets did. So, it's all but confirmed at this point.
I think Wikipedia confirmed it. So that means it's real. No, but he better be. And I also think it's a little silly that they're waiting for WrestleMania to do this. I mean, I'm not saying Cody Rhodes is a massive box office draw, but they still haven't sold like thousands of tickets. Don't you think maybe it's a good idea to bring him in a week early to maybe try to sell a few of those? I mean, it's a big story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a huge story for Cody Rhodes to come back to the WWE after everything. After he took a sledgehammer and smashed a throne. I mean, like, he all but like left WWE just in the dust. And now he's back. And it's a big story. It'll be a nice moment. And Vince mentioned he said it was going to be the main event. No? Didn't he say you should be in the main event?
No.
I swear to God he said that. I watched it on Bleacher Report. I swear he said main event. But I heard the KO Austin thing is going to be the main event.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to be the last match before it. I don't know.
Maybe. And you know what? I put on this show last night, or on the page last night. I was like, dude, I'd pop if it was Veer Mahan just to piss everybody off.
Oh my God, yeah, it would. Yeah, I didn't even think of that because I've heard he's going to be on. Now he's going to be on Raw. He's going to be on Raw Monday night. You know that.
But,
oh man, oh my God, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Can you imagine how mad that crowd would be?
Yeah. or just like the Undertaker comes out and tombstones Rollins and pins him. Like that's the only other thing I can possibly think of. But it's got to be Cody.
Be awesome.
I wouldn't hate that. I would not hate that.
Yeah, I would 100% be down for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, man, if it's Veer Mahan, I would so pop because them people would be mad, boy.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be mad. I'd be like, this is amazing. Like, I can't, this is shocking. Absolutely shocking. But no, I'm with you. It's got to be. And then if it is, Rhodes is obviously going to win.
Because there's obviously no way that he would lose, So for Seth to do that job, I'm interested to see how it is. It's going to be, if Cody does show up, you're just going to be like, oh, wow, am I in the Twilight Zone? That
will be crazy. I will pop for that. I'm telling you, I will pop for that. Definitely. And I'm not the biggest Cody fan, especially his last few months at AEW where he was just manic. But that's a big moment. So I would definitely get excited for that.
Yeah. And too, my brother and I were talking last night because he was like, "What if they had somebody like Braun Breaker come out?" I said, "Oh God, they don't deserve that."
No. It's too soon.
Now, if it was a heel, it'd be different. That's why I said Veer Mahan. I was like, Veer Mahan, that's like ultimate heel move.
Mm-hmm.
But I said somebody like Braun Breaker that they want everybody to get behind. That's like the wrong thing to do. I mean,
Breaker would make more sense if you think about it. I mean, he's a babyface. I mean, not like that anybody cares about heel and babyface anymore, but
yeah,
I mean, it would make more sense. But it's got to be Cody.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
Yeah,
Sarah, Wikipedia said it. Okay, that means it's real. All right.
All right.
It's got to be Cody.
All right. Let's see. Okay, Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
Come on. We all know Drew McIntyre is going to win. Can I? Who comes up with these? As if Happy Corbin isn't bad enough. Madcap Moss. Why? What is that? Why? What is the name? Why? I don't even understand what the hell they're doing. I don't get the gimmick.
I don't. Ever since the whole Lone Wolf thing ended, I don't get Baron Corbin. I don't care for him.
I didn't even mind Corbin.
Drew.
I used to like him.
Drew deserves better. Hopefully he will get better after this.
I'm hoping this is like a stay busy, keep him relevant, keep him on the WrestleMania card kind of match because McIntyre is still hot. He's still hot. I mean, you got to get him involved. I wouldn't mind seeing him turn heel again and working an angle there. Just to keep something fresh. But
yeah, I agree. All right, we got SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Usos versus Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. I saw that and I was like, okay. I love the Usos. You know me. I do too. Samoan Dynasty. So
great team.
Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura, that's his guitar player and everything. So I'm like, it's one of those like Shinsuke deserves better.
You know they're going to put the belts on Nakamura and Boogs here. You have to know that. Like, the dumber the gimmick, the more likely they're going to be successful at this point. And, Boogs is going to play the guitar and Nakamura is going to come down looking like he's having a seizure. And, like I don't know what that is either. I don't like that. But remember when Nakamura signed and we were like, oh, my God, and he had that match with Sami Zayn on NXT. I think it was NXT Dallas. Yes. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And then and he was great on NXT. Great match with Samoa Joe. And then of course, like almost every time he goes to the main roster and he's just jobbing out to Jinder Mahal. I think that happened at did he lose to Jinder Mahal at WrestleMania one year? Because after he won the Royal Rumble? No, that's when he faced AJ Styles. I want to say he lost to Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. I want to say that happened. It's just ridiculous. But I think they're going to put the belts on Nakamura and Boogs and that might actually kind of play into the Reigns match on night 2. Usos lost. They might try to play that in somehow. I don't know. But
very well could.
Yeah.
Very well could. So the next match is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. And I, for one, will say I am glad this is not the main event.
Yeah. Okay, well, first before we get into this match, you and I have a bone to pick here. Because I know you don't like Charlotte, and I don't know why. I can't understand it.
I like Charlotte. I just think WWE made her overrated with all these title reigns. I know.
Wait a minute. But you don't have the same critique about Reigns when he got shoved down our throat for 3 straight years when we didn't want it. But because he's good looking, that's fine. That's okay because he's a big Jack Samoan. That's okay. But Charlotte, nope, can't have that.
I mean, I think with Charlotte, it's more predictable. You knew she was going to win, and you're just like, really?
Well, first of all, I think Charlotte Flair is maybe, if you take the entire roster, men and women, I would say she's one of the top 10, if not top 5 workers on the entire roster. She's gonna get a match out of Ronda Rousey. She could get a match out of me right now. And my glory days are long behind me. But they had a match a few years ago at Survivor Series that I thought was actually quite good, and it was because Charlotte carried her. I think she will here. Do you think they're going to put the belt back on Ronda?
I wouldn't be surprised.
They've managed to take the steam off of her too.
Yeah.
With this whole smiley shaking hands act thing, she's not that badass anymore. It's like, I don't know, more mistakes.
Got a comment right here. Let's see. It's Tina.
Oh no.
My husband is learning Japanese, so he's been learning the culture. He explained to me that they are overly expressive. That is why Shinsuke does that and why Omega does all those over the 2 finger points.
Another thing I hate when Omega does that. But, I get it. I get it. The culture is very different. I understand that. And I love Nakamura. I'm just like, basically that for me, that's all he is right now, is coming down the aisle doing that silly thing with, some guy playing like pretty mediocre guitar the whole time. And it's just like, I don't know. I like you said, he deserves better than what he's doing right now. And he's been stuck with this Boogs thing for ages. I feel like it's been forever. And they need to move on from it. But they're probably going to put the belts on him, and they're not going to.
Yeah. So Charlotte and Ronda, I think it would be a good match. I'm not discounting that at all. They may put it on Ronda. But then again, I don't know. It's one of those where I'm just like, I'm okay either way, I guess. So, and of course, at the end of night 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin is appearing on the KO show. So this is so as of today, this is going to close night 1. Obviously, they're going to do something epic here.
Yeah, and let me tell you what I like about this first, and I'll tell you what I don't like about it. What I do like about it is, if anyone's going to do this, it should be Kevin Owens for a few reasons. One, he can talk. He can get people riled up. He can get people really fired up for Stone Cold to come out. Plus, Kevin Owens is the type of guy that will take any bump you can possibly imagine. I would not be shocked to close out WrestleMania if Austin throws him off the stage through 7 tables, because Owens will do that. I mean, you've seen some of the spots in these ladder matches that looks like he's dead. He really goes hard. So it should be exciting, and I'll definitely fanboy when Austin comes out. I was at WrestleMania 14 in Boston when he beat Michaels for the belt the first time. I was there for it. And I was, God, what was I, 17 or 18 years old? It was one of the best nights of my life. Wow. But the one thing I don't like about this is it's so manufactured, because Kevin Owens has been with the WWE since 2014, 15, 7, 8 years.
Somewhere around there.
And suddenly, after 8 years, he just despises the state of Texas. When did that happen? He suddenly, 6 weeks ago, suddenly hates Texas now. Dallas, Austin, Houston, you name it. He hates it. I think they just got to come up with something better. I know they probably won't work the Bret Hart angle, because you mentioned, we talked before we went on. They're doing the Owen Hart tournament over in AEW, which I've heard rumors that Bret might have some type of involvement at some point. So maybe that's why they didn't do that. But I don't know. It's so contrived. But again, that's not shocking these days with the way they write. But I am looking forward to this. God, when was the last time Austin was in the ring, other than WrestleMania? What was it? 30 with Bryan? But remember with Hogan, Rock, and
it was 30.
That was 30, right?
I was there. Yeah.
Oh, you were there. Oh, that was a great night. Wow. Yeah. And because he said that, because it was at the Superdome, right? But Hogan called it the Silver Dome when he came out. So, I think that was the last time Austin was in the ring. So I'm looking forward to this. It should be a lot of fun, and I think Owens will do something insane. So.
Yeah, they're going to do some epic, send everybody home happy on that first night, which is, Stone Cold. Stone Cold. I'm all right with it. I don't have a problem with that at all. So.
That'll be fun, and that's actually a smart way to end. Night 1 is going to end with him standing on the rope, pouring beers down his face. That's going to happen, and I cannot wait to see.
Just for that nostalgia factor and everything. Yeah, I agree.
Hell yeah, I can't wait for that.
That's why I'm saying that's like Veer Mahan's got to be that mystery opponent.
you are really attaching to this one. Okay, if you're right, I swear to God, I'm calling you immediately if that happens. Just so you know.
Be like, yeah.
Oh my God! Now I'm actually starting to think it's gonna happen. Now you're in my head.
Sending everybody home happy.
I don't know. I don't think so, but
I can hear Vince now. That's such good shit, pal.
Yeah. Oh, that's a Vince special. You know that. But can I ask you one quick question about Cody? I want to see maybe we should make a wager on whether if he does show up, if that neck tattoo's gone. Because I guarantee Vince has a problem with that neck tattoo. I can almost guarantee you that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Imagine that he shows up and she's gone. He said time, and he has the money. Just saying.
Yep.
Veer Mahan. It's gonna be Veer Mahan. I know it is. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh God.
All right. Night 2, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Winner takes all. I really like how this has been built up. And like I said, with Roman's promo last night, man, it was awesome. At first I wasn't too thrilled with the idea because I was there for WrestleMania 31 and the intensity from the fans, it was just oof. And I was like, no, we don't need to see that again. You know, they've already done it a couple of times, whatnot. But this time, I mean, and then Roman pointed out that he has never beat Brock at WrestleMania. And he said, other than that, he has done just about everything in WWE, which he is right. And so I like that. I like how, you know, they've been trying to run each other over and all this stuff. I mean, Roman said to him, it was like a game to Brock Lesnar, but for him, it's personal.
Right.
So yeah, they're in. Of course, you know, Michael Cole and them were overdoing it as usual. Yeah. This is the biggest match in WrestleMania history.
Well, I mean, I will give them this. It is the biggest match not only the WWE can make, but that can be made in wrestling right now. I mean, these two guys are the biggest stars in wrestling. Yeah. Even though Lesnar, and I know you have mixed feelings about Lesnar, but he's a part-timer, but he really is, as far as star power and you know, his trophy case, you know, everything. And then of course Reigns is the biggest star there is. This is the biggest match they can make. I mean, I can't think of a different. And you and Tina, when I do listen to you guys, believe it or not, I do listen to you guys quite a bit when you do the show. You guys tend to talk about this a lot. You say it. They book themselves into a corner. Yes. And they do, because they don't develop future stars the way that they used to. And they rely too much on the older stars. And so they really don't have a choice at this point but to do Lesnar Reigns. I wish they had worked on pushing a different guy for the last year and made that versus Reigns. Maybe it's a babyface. Maybe he wins and he gets over and they can start a feud with Reigns. Like nope. Let's go with the old guys. Let's do, bring people back. Let's do this. And it's just, I don't know. It doesn't further your company at all. So
I'm thinking of something. Let's say Reigns wins, and I hope he does.
He should.
This would be perfect for Drew McIntyre to get back in the title picture, because who beat Brock Lesnar for the championship?
Right. Exactly. Eliminated him at the Royal Rumble too.
Yep. There's your story for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I would.
Pay me.
I would love that. Reigns and McIntyre will be an absolute hoss fight. I would love that. But it's got to be Reigns, right? Especially if they're unifying the belts. You're not going to have a part-timer be your unified champion with two different shows, right? And Lesnar's not even. First of all, Lesnar's not even part-time. Lesnar's like per diem. They just call him when they need him. Hey, can you pick up a shift this weekend? Like, that's Lesnar right now. So it's got to be Reigns. It absolutely has to be Reigns.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I mean, he's our tribal chief after all.
Hell yeah.
We acknowledge him on Peaches and Power Bombs.
And I do too. If I was standing in front of him, I absolutely would. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, when he comes to Atlanta, I swear, when he addresses Atlanta and says, "Acknowledge me." Y'all gonna hear me on that TV because I'm observing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
gonna hold you to that.
Next match is the match I want to see. I cannot wait. Edge versus AJ Styles. Oh my god, I can't wait.
Yeah. Can I tell you? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so negative. Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
It's like this is the one match that they didn't have to have some complicated story for. This is two legends. They don't even have to have a heel and a babyface. This is two legends who have never wrestled before, competing in a match that everybody wants to see anyways. They don't need to ramp it up at all. But suddenly, like they've just decided that Edge is a psychopath all of a sudden, and now he's going to bring out the best in AJ Styles, a story we've heard a million times. They just didn't need it. It was unnecessary. If they just went, hey, this is happening, and then they cut a couple of promos, did a contract signing, I'd have been totally in on that. But now it's weird. Now it's complicated. Now it's just silly. But it should be a banger. Edge, I don't know if you know this about me, Edge is my favorite wrestler of all time, and AJ Styles is my second favorite wrestler of all time. So this is the moment for me. I've been waiting for this forever. So I'm going to love it regardless. I just think it could have been done a little better is all.
Right. What a time to be alive, right?
Oof, this is I mean, for all intents and purposes, this could have headlined night one. But I understand the Austin thing makes sense, so I'm okay with it. But I am really, really looking forward to this one. So
me too. I think it's going to be semi-main event for sure. I mean, you got to have.
It's gotta.
I mean, it's not going to top Reigns and Lesnar. They're going to close night too.
Oh, of course, and they should, rightfully so.
Yeah, and then don't take a rocket scientist for that. But Edge and AJ Styles needs to be semi. I mean, that's my opinion. So.
It should, but they'll probably do Bobby Lashley and Omos is my guess, and then I'm gonna be really upset. But I'm looking forward to this one.
This is the same company that did a Playboy pillow fight for a semi-main event one time.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I actually, I rewatched that Edge WWE 24 documentary. I rewatched it yesterday. The one about his comeback. That is so good. That is so good. That is material.
I need to watch it.
Oh my God. I've seen it a few times now. It's incredible that what he came back from with his neck and everything. It's just it's really cool. And I think he's like 46 or 47 years old. And he looks great. He looks great.
He really does.
He's really trained hard for this. So this should be really good. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. All right, let me see here. Women's Tag Team Championship, Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Naomi and Sasha Banks versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Yeah, this is probably one of those. That's probably going to open up night two, I think.
I mean, listen, I don't really have a problem. I'm not big on Queen Zelina or Carmella. I think Sasha's great. Naomi has her moments. I think Liv Morgan's underrated. Natalya's a veteran. Shayna Baszler I like because she's a shoot fighter. But the thing I'm really upset about is Rhea Ripley doesn't have a bigger role in WrestleMania. I think that girl is an absolute superstar. Like, just can't miss. Like, that girl, if she quit wrestling right now with her look, could be a movie star, like a mega movie star. And she's just such a badass. And again, it's her look, but it's also her in-ring ability, her size, the way she talks. She cuts a great promo. I mean, I maybe that's something they could focus on after Mania, and maybe it's like we talked about, like a Drew McIntyre thing. They're just trying to keep her involved. But this thing, you got a lot of talent in here, but you're kind of wasting it, and that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and two, a couple positive points here. I'm glad to see they're doing something with the Women's Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
And I feel like, in a way, too, this is a way to get all the girls on the card. So, considering, you have Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, Becky and Bianca, everybody else is in tag teams. And, all right, hey, let's do this. I'm all right with it. I'm like you. I wish they had a bigger role. But, hey, at least the tag team championship is in the, is for grabs and whatnot. Got something up here. Hold on just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry, my friend Sherry. Damn, Tim, don't hide your reactions.
I'm sorry.
Your facial expressions kill me.
Is it the eye roll? Is the eye roll going on? I'm sorry. I'll tame it. My bad.
It's fine. She's laughing at
See, you know, the podcast that I do, we don't stream the video anywhere. So I can look however I want. Like, I actually showered before I came on here today. So so I don't know. I'm not used to it, but I'll try to tone it down.
Don't feel bad. I made the effort to put makeup on tonight and I didn't go nowhere.
Okay,
Last night I was on Buckle Bomb Entertainment podcast and I didn't even wear no makeup. She had Sarah messaged me like 30 minutes before the podcast. It was like, hey, can you do a live? And I was like, yeah, I think I can.
Not going to be my best moment, but sure.
Yeah, I literally rolled out of bed. We had a blast, and definitely give them anybody give Buckle Bomb Entertainment a look because they're awesome.
I love the name too. It's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
All right,
Hey, Sarah, real quick. Is it weird if I step away for 10 seconds?
No.
My dog is crying. My dog's crying for water. You talk amongst yourself. I'll be right back.
All right. So, another match is Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. Obviously, Pat McAfee has been in some wrestling matches, primarily with Adam Cole and NXT. Vince McMahon chose Austin Theory as his pet project, and basically Vince set this match up, Austin Theory and Pat McAfee. I think it's going to be a better match than we expected. Pat McAfee, actually, I think it was Triple H that said that he's really underrated in terms of fan reaction and stuff. So,
yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this one. It's definitely an under the radar match. I love Austin Theory. I think that kid, if booked right, which this thing with Vince is weird, but at least he's getting playtime here. I think Austin Theory has the potential to be like a main eventer, like world champion type of guy. He's got the look. He's just his movement in the ring is just like he's just for a kid his age. I mean, I got it right here. Austin Theory is 24, and he moves like he's been doing this for 20 years, like in the ring, and he can talk a little bit. It needs a little work. But he looks great. He's got everything. He's got it all there. It's a blue chip prospect. And Pat McAfee is so underrated. Remember his match with Adam Cole? And then he did War Games too, but he's super underrated. And I think, he actually, before he ever got to the WWE, he actually he did wrestling training on his own with Rip Rogers, who's one of the best trainers in the world. So he knows his stuff. He's a good athlete. He was an NFL. He was a punter, granted. I'm not saying he was like a wide receiver here or anything in the NFL, but he's in good shape. He cares. He's a student of the game. He's a fan.
Charismatic.
Yeah, I love his color commentary. I think he's hysterical. Some of the references he comes out with are great. I'm looking forward to this. Unfortunately, I think they'll probably bury it into like a 9-minute match, but again, you might have to doll it up a little bit with McAfee because I don't think he's going to be in there throwing hip tosses and arm drags and headlocks. I think they're going to have to kind of do like what Adam Cole did with him and kind of dummy it up a little bit. But I think it'll still be entertaining. I like this one. Yeah,
Austin Theory's from Georgia, so earlier this month we interviewed AC Mack and they trained together, and even he told us, he's like, oh yeah, they like him.
He's good. He's really good. I saw him wrestle maybe 3 years ago in Melrose, Massachusetts, random show. And I'm like, who the hell is Austin Theory? And he came out, I'm like, 2 minutes in, I'm like, this kid can go. Like, he can really go. So
yeah, he was like, oh yeah, they like him. Look at all the spots they put him in and stuff. I was like, oh yeah. I mean, he's taking full advantage of it, and why not? I mean, yeah. Good, good for him. Of course, Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville. I think Sami Zayn is just killing it with this. I mean, they gave him this, and he's just making a home run out of it.
Sami Zayn tends to do that. Like he's hilarious. Like I loved when he was doing that whole like conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
Like it was just, I thought that was great. But he's another guy that I just feel like they got to get him wrestling more because he's so good in the ring. Like I've never seen a guy with that type of physique be that strong. Like he's scary strong for a guy that looks like that. And he's so good. And yeah, he's making it work. Unfortunately, he's with Johnny Knoxville, who, you know, this might have been like a thing if this was like 20 years ago, but
right.
It's surprised Johnny Knoxville's still alive. But this will be quick. Zayn, if Zayn doesn't win and I was him, I would walk out of the company. I would leave if they find some stupid way to put Johnny Knoxville over in this. Johnny Knoxville kills himself for a living. Why wouldn't he eat a pin from Sami Zayn? That doesn't make any sense. So, I'm not looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
I'm kind of all set with it.
I think Sami definitely deserves better. If anybody deserves better, it's him for sure.
Yeah. That's one of the problems with Vince, though. When you show him you can be funny, he turns you into a clown. It's what he did with Dean Ambrose. You know,
such good shit. Wow.
Yeah, that's where it came from. I mean, like you can't do it. You can't show him that you're funny. He will turn you into a sideshow act. He has a weird sense of humor. That guy.
Did you see the thing that I posted on the page last night about the 24/7 picture?
No.
How about Reggie proposed to Dana Brooke last night, and then Akira Tozawa proposed to Tamina, and I'm like, what the hell was that? Do I even want to? I was like,
I just don't care. It's just so silly.
This is why I'm on a Raw break.
I don't blame you. And I understand why you're not on a SmackDown break, though, because we know who the star of SmackDown is. But
I actually haven't watched SmackDown in a while, but yeah.
What is this world coming to? No, I get it. I get it. It's almost like at this point, like the matches are secondary. The wrestling is actually secondary to these silly stories. Mm-hmm. That's where the frustration comes from, you know?
Okay. Speaking of silly stories, Raw Tag Team Championship, RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. I think this is going to be a better match than we expect to.
I agree, because they had RK Bro. I feel stupid saying that name out loud, and Alpha Academy had a banger a couple weeks ago on Raw. 2-3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I'm not good with timetables. They had a banger on Raw that was really, really good. So I think this would be good. There's a lot of, again, like we talked about with the women's match, there's a lot of talent in this match. They're all good. I mean, Otis is what he is. He's a big dude. He does what he does, but Chad Gable's maybe the most underrated guy on the entire roster. Randy Orton's Randy Orton. You know, it can get old, but it's Randy Orton. It's a legend. You know, the Street Profits are great. Matt Riddle. I blame the booking more than anything with Matt Riddle. They've made him a sideshow act with this scooter and all this silliness. But
you know, I didn't like Matt Riddle, but with him and Randy, I just think it's gold because it's so funny.
I just can't wait for Randy Orton to just RKO him and then pummel him, and then they just have a feud and be over with. I'll tell you a quick story.
It might be coming Sunday. You never know.
That same show I saw Austin Aries. I'm sorry, Austin Aries. I miss Austin Aries, actually. Austin Theory at. Matt Riddle opened that show. It was for Beyond Wrestling. He came out and cut a promo. And I knew of Matt Riddle beforehand because I'm a huge UFC fan. And he was in the UFC. He was actually I want to say he had like 8 or 10 fights in the UFC. And he wasn't great, but he was tough as nails and really could hit. He had a beard. You couldn't knock the guy down if he had a sledgehammer. Like, he was just very tough. So I liked Matt Riddle. And when you have that kind of background, you're automatically legit. And he came out and cut a promo. I'd heard about him pro wrestling. Then he came out. I'm like, oh, that was a good promo. And then he came back later and attacked somebody and put him in a rear naked choke. I'm like, wow, this guy's like a badass. Like, this could really work. And he did a lot of that at NXT. And then again, you get to the main roster and it's all a big joke. And I think it's hurt him. I think it's really hurt him. I think they had something there with Riddle. He's not the most likable guy from what I've heard, but he's good and he's legit. He's an actual shoot fighter, you know, and they've just made him silly. He's not a tough guy anymore. He's just He just seems like a stoner, which is okay. But I mean,
I got a couple comments coming in. Brian Quinn, man, I hadn't heard from you in a minute. How are you doing? Stop watching Raw, but I love Roman. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you saw the light.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular sentiment, I think, lately. It's just
never been crazy about Riddle. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked him for a minute, and then since he's been on the main roster, again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll get back to my banners here. Let's see here. Okay, and of course, the last one on here is Bobby Lashley and Omos. That was set last night. So, Bobby Lashley should. It was just like he was fed to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But he was injured too, so it was kind of like between a rock and a hard place. And I'm glad he's better and going to be in Mania. But
why this match? Why this match? Just save him for Raw. I swear to God, if he gets pinned by Omos, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because if you want to, again, we're talking about legit badasses. Bobby Lashley's one of those. They've pushed him hard. He deserves it. And Omos, I'm not even blaming him for being terrible. He's 7 foot whatever, and he's green. He's not wrestled a lot, and he's in a major promotion on national television every week. Like, what do you expect out of the guy? He can't move. His stuff looks weird, and if he pins Bobby Lashley, I'm gonna start a riot. I don't get the match. I don't understand it, and I'm not really interested in seeing it, to be honest.
Brian says he's doing good. I'm glad to hear that. He says why. That's a why, I guess, about this match. Yeah. Well,
I agree.
I'm thinking, last year when he teamed with AJ Styles against the New Day, he was like, they made Kofi and I want to say it was Big E in that match, or maybe it was Xavier Woods. It had to be Xavier Woods. Anyway, the New Day, they made Omos look like $1 million, and since then it's just like okay, he had that learning tree of AJ Styles. I mean, that was huge, So I don't know. Maybe I think Bobby Lashley should win. I don't think Omos should. Bobby Lashley, if he loses, I feel like that's gonna do him more harm than good.
I bet you Omos will get counted out or disqualified or something like that. I don't think Omos is going to get pinned. Not yet. I think they're going to save that moment for somebody else. I think Lashley will, frustrate him, and then Omos will hit him with a chair or something like that is my guess. So,
Okay, I got one more comment here. Brian thinks Omos is going to win.
I hope not. Maybe Lashley will get disqualified. I don't think either person's getting pinned. Maybe Lashley will get disqualified.
Yeah, I would be all right with that. Mm-hmm. All right, last thing with WWE, we'll talk about the class of 2022, which I think is a good class considering. So they did announce the Steiner Brothers going in this year, which I'm very happy about and long overdue.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I heard Psycho Sid was supposed to be in the Hall of Fame, but I guess it wasn't confirmed or whatever. So, but I'm okay with this class. There was something on Wrestling Inc. today. Nikki Bella was on. The Bellas did their podcast, and Nikki Bella said she couldn't wait to see Vader, his presence, and hear a Hall of Fame speech. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Unless you got like an industrial strength fan and some really strong smelling salts, I don't think Vader is going to be there. Is my guess. But yeah, I'm not even going to go in on the Bellas right now. But yeah, no. This is a good class, and I love the Steiner Brothers. I've argued for years that I think they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
Yeah,
that they had a very short stint in the WWE. I mean, Scotty had one, after WCW folded, but they had a very short stint. It was, I don't know, like a year and a half, 2 years. They were unbelievable in those two. Like, they were by far the best tag team on the roster. So yeah, no, they definitely deserve it. Plus Ricky's been around a lot now, obviously with his son being around. But yeah, no, this is a good class. I'm excited.
Yeah, I agree. People gave Charmel some flack, but Charmel did a lot more than they realized.
Yeah.
She wasn't just for, she just wasn't, around for King Booker. She was around before, and
yeah, she trained. Yeah, she was in OVW for a bit. She was never really utilized in the right way, but she was a talented girl.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we're gonna go over to AEW right quick. This popped up yesterday. Apparently, MJF did an interview with Ariel Helwani, talked a lot of mess, and apparently it was not approved by AEW or Tony Khan. And basically, the word on the street is that they got into it, and both of them were frustrated at the end. So, I don't know what to say about that, but it is a process for interviews. So for MJF to go ahead and take the interview with Ariel Helwani and not even go through AEW, that was kind of.
Yeah, from what I read, it wasn't even the content. It was the fact that he didn't go through the right process to do the interview, and he said some pretty. I would have assumed Tony Khan might have had a problem with some of the things he said about his contract being up and where he's going to go for the money and everything like that. But apparently that wasn't the heart of the issue. It was a procedural thing. So,
yeah. So, I haven't heard any more about it, but that was like the big news yesterday. So, moving on from that, now tomorrow on Dynamite, the Owen Hart tournament begins. I'm very excited about this. I am so glad that the good thing is Owen Hart is gonna be pretty much brought back, and his name is in pro wrestling again. I'm love the idea of the tournament, and the winners will be crowned at Double or Nothing, and Dr. Martha Hart will be presenting that award at that event. So, but that begins tomorrow with the women, and they have the Bunny taking on the newest AEW signee. We do not know who that is, but I got two that I'm thinking of, and that is Tony Storm.
Yep.
And Athena.
Yeah, those seem to be the only other one I can think of, only because they recently signed Keith Lee is Mia Yim. I could think that too, or Taya Valkyrie maybe, but no, I'm hoping it's Tony Storm. God, I love Tony, but I love Ember Moon too. Well, sorry, Athena, Adrian Reese, whatever you want to call her. But she was, I was always a huge fan of her. Big fan of Tony Storm. I love Mia Yim too. So if it's any of those three, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I agree. Because a lot of them, their 90 days are just up. They're starting to do other stuff. So yeah, for sure.
Some people have rumored Nixon Newell, Tegan Knox. I don't know if her knees are even ready yet. She's had multiple.
Girl, yeah.
Oh my God. So
she's like Rey Mysterio with the knee injuries.
Yeah, there was a quick documentary on her, and it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life. Just watching her blow out her knees repeatedly. So I don't know if she's ready to go or not. And I know this sounds a little mean, but if you run a wrestling promotion, are you going to sign someone to a long-term deal who has two blown knees?
It's a risk for sure.
I don't know, but then again, Tony Khan signed Marco Stunt, so he might sign anybody is my guess, but maybe he learned better. But either way, I think any of those, even if it was Tegan Knox, I'd be happy because I loved her. I'm interested in this. This should be really good.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that they're bringing women to the forefront because it's been kind of quiet in the women's division, and Thunder Rosa just become the new AEW Women's Champion. Dr. Britt Baker had a great run, so I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see there's some things happening with the women's division, and I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching Dynamite tomorrow, and I hope we find out sooner rather than later. But either one, if it's me, Tony Storm, or Athena, I'm 100% down for it because I love all three.
Yep, they're really good. And I hope at some point Serena Deeb finally kind of moves into that world title. She is so good, my God.
I love the professor gimmick.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Her promo stuff is pretty good. Her in-ring stuff is just perfect. It is so crisp. She never messes up. I mean, she is so good. And remind me, did she retired for a little while, didn't she?
I think she did.
Wasn't she was it Serena Deeb who was in with CM Punk? I wasn't watching a lot back then. I had given it a little break, but that was when he was doing the Straight Edge Society. That was Serena Deeb, right? So she retired for a bit, came back, worked a couple matches with NXT, and then and she's been back now for a while, and she is just fantastic.
Love it. She did some stuff with NWA there before for a while too, and it was so good.
Yeah.
Let's
Girl's
see
a pro.
here. Darby Allin's going to take on Andrade El Idolo tomorrow night. First time ever. FTR versus the Gun Club is also advertised for tomorrow's Dynamite.
I'm going to tell you right now, if FTR loses that match, much like I said about Sami Zayn, they should leave. FTR should leave. They are the best tag team in the world. They are better than any other. I don't think it's that close with anybody else. And their booking has been horrific in AEW. And don't get me going on why I think that is, but I think these guys deserve, and they're not getting any younger. And you really got to maximize how good. Did you see Dynamite last week, Dax's match with CM Punk?
No, I haven't. I got to catch it tomorrow.
I won't spoil anything. I will tell you, I think it was one of the best classic wrestling matches I've seen in a very long time. That could have been a match from 30 years ago, but it was just as good today because they didn't have like a lot of some of these guys have these like choreographed gymnastics routines they like to do in the ring, and that drives me bananas. But this was just a classic wrestling match with two guys who looked like they were trying to hurt each other, and the other guy trying to stop him from doing that, which is what classic wrestling was back in the day. And these guys still can do it, and I thought that match was just fantastic. Both those guys are just Dax is good. I'd love to see Cash work a couple singles matches. I think he's really good too. But definitely check that match out. It's really good. And then I don't want to bury the lead, but FTR's got a big one coming up too.
Yeah. Brian says, "Is Bret Hart going to manage FTR?" He corrects himself later, but I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know why. I'm not against it. Of course
I'm not either.
I don't know where the connection would be there. Neither one of those dudes are Canadian, right? No. I think Cash is from North Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't know where Dax, but either way, I wouldn't be against it, but I don't know why they would, but I would love it.
Yeah. Tina, every move was meaningful. It was perfection.
Yes, girl. Yes, exactly. Everything made sense. It was, like I said, it looked like they were trying to injure each other and win the match. And the other guy was playing defense. It looked great. It's just such a classic. Just a classic part. Like you could have seen in like the NWA in the 70s. Like it was great. I really loved it.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to be thinking about that all day at work tomorrow. I'll be like,
so good.
Watch it.
So good.
Watch it. So yeah, we talked WrestleMania, which obviously it's WrestleMania week. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. If anybody is watching this and you're actually going to Dallas, be safe, have fun. And I want to bring this up. Don't be an asshole.
Just in general, just in life.
I wanted to bring this up because Ricochet did say something in a tweet, I think today about this. Apparently I think it was like some fans were at the hotel and they're wanting an autograph or something. And, it's like, there's a time and a place for everything. Hounding a wrestler at a hotel or airport is not one of those times. especially airport, you got to make the flight. You got to, at the hotel, it's a long day. You're ready to, decompress, go home or chill for the night, and people argue too. Oh, it's what they signed up for. Well, don't mean be an idiot.
Right.
Okay. I mean, when I was in California, I went to San Jose for WrestleMania 31. And everybody found out where the wrestlers were staying. We were staying at the Hilton. They were staying at I can't even remember what the hotel was called, but it was right across the street. It was some fancy motel. And there was so many people just sitting outside waiting for them. Like, come on, seriously. Like I said, there's a time and a place for that. That's why they have meet and greets. Don't be an idiot. Be respectful. Respect is given in return. There's a right way and a wrong way. And that is definitely a wrong way. If I love Roman. If I saw him in the airport, I wouldn't dare bother him. I'd just stare from a distance.
Yeah. Yeah, drool slightly.
Yeah, like, girl. Oh, no. But seriously, I'm not going to go, especially if they, WrestleMania, their family's going to be there. Don't bother them. I mean, they are human just like we are. Don't be an idiot. Just, if y'all are, if it's somewhere else, given the situation, it's one thing. But yeah, if they're trying to check into the hotel or something and you're like coming up there, yeah, you're asking to be chewed out because that's rude. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
So
one thing you can always guarantee with a lot of hardcore wrestling fans is their level of entitlement. A lot of them think these wrestlers owe them. Because I've spent all my money on you and your merchandise, and it's like, I've seen it too. I've seen it firsthand. I'll tell you, actually, I met Luke Harper I was in Disney. Where was I? Not Universal. Either way, I was in one of the parks, and I didn't even realize I met him until I was like in a food court, and I was like getting food, and then I was like, hey, that's Luke Harper. And very quietly, I was just like, hey, man, I'm a big fan. And I just shook his hand, and that was it. Yeah. He was with his family. He was with his kids. Like, I didn't want to, the guy's on vacation. I don't want to mess with him. But at the same time, I was kind of like, oh, I'm such a fan. I was like totally geeking out.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way to approach these wrestlers. And like you said, they're humans, and they enjoy their time when they're not in if you left your job for the day and then somebody started like asking you to do things when you weren't on the clock that pertain to your job, is that fair? Are you going to be like, yeah, let me go ahead and do that right away? No, of course not. This guy is exhausted. Just leave him alone. Yeah.
Tina says FTR versus them boys on Friday.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be so good. Yeah, Super Card of Honor. It's going to be some good stuff.
Do we know if that's got to be streaming somewhere, right? Maybe Bleacher Report has it or something like that. I'm going to look that up. But it's got to be, right? God, I want to watch that match more. Oh, my God. You talk about it. I'll research.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I know you got Swerve Strickland, Alex Zane, Jonathan Gresham versus Bandito. This match sounds really good. Jay Lethal versus Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty is really good. I really
super underrated. Super underrated guy.
Josh Woods, Wheeler Yuta, and Mercedes Martinez versus Willow Nightingale. It's a good card so far.
Sarah, it's Lee Moriarty versus who?
Jay Lethal.
Oof, God, Jay Lethal's fantastic. Another. That's going to be a. That is going to be. Yes, I just looked that up. Fight TV, which you can stream off pretty much anything: Xbox, Chromecast, Apple TV, Roku. So there's a way. I have a Roku. I might do that. It's a Friday night.
Yeah.
I might do that. I don't play. I don't do anything anyways. I mean, I might as well just do that. But
Brian says people can be very rude. Oh,
so
yeah, don't
bad.
you know?
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Brian actually has done like security at like Comic Cons and stuff like.
Well, oh wow! Oh, he's seen some stuff then. Okay.
Yes. If anybody knows, it's Brian. I mean,
yeah.
Tina, if you want the one-on-one connection, buy the meet and greet.
Exactly. That's what they're there for, and they know they're working. They're in character, I guess, if you want to call it that. But they're there to make money, and they're there to do a meet and greet, and they're there to service. Not when they're like on their free time.
Yeah, I will say this: if anybody does anything at WrestleMania weekend, do a WrestleCon. WrestleCon is basically like this big convention of various wrestlers. Obviously, not WWE. I don't know if it's going to be have AEW there or not. I doubt it. But, you have your other wrestlers there. And, some of them don't mind if you come up and talk to them. But others, if you're not paying them, they don't want to be bothered. It just depends on them.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's okay to be respectful, courteous. Hi, how you doing? Just want to say I'm a big fan, blah, blah, blah. And but some of them, they'll shoot shit with you, and then you got some others you could tell from the vibe. But if anybody does a WrestleMania, y'all got to go to WrestleCon, because when I went in California, WrestleCon was my favorite.
That's awesome.
That's where I met Road Warrior Animal, Bret Hart. I met Jacqueline. I was with Jacqueline and talked to her for like 20 minutes. It was awesome. Like, we talked about everything. And then I joked with my friend Julian. I wanted to meet Samoa Joe, but my friend Julian had a birthday coming up, and he loves Kelly Kelly.
How can you blame him?
I gave up meeting Samoa Joe so he can have a personal autograph from Kelly Kelly. So sometimes when he's like, nobody's going to want to be my friend. Look, I gave up a potential husband for you. That's our running joke. But yes. Just be a decent human being. You don't have to. I mean, if it's meant to be, it will be. I mean, I know what it's like to be starstruck and stuff like that, but you gotta keep yourself together. Don't be an idiot. Come on now, just behave. That's all I gotta say about that.
Sarah, for that Super Card of Honor, did you mention the title match, the Jonathan Gresham versus Bandito?
Yes.
That should be good. Jonathan Gresham is fantastic. Super undersized. He's like 5'5". He's little, but he is so good. Bandito's good. He's a veteran. He's been around. I met Jonathan Gresham I met a lot of people that night. That was that same card in Melrose. I met Jonathan Gresham and his wife, Jordan Grace, who's on Impact.
Okay.
Super, super nice people. Super cool, super chill. And Jonathan, and they're both really good. Jonathan Gresham is really good, though. This is a really stacked card. This should be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. My brother says Johnny Gargano goes to Ring of Honor. Him and Gresham will have a clinic.
Yep.
Dude, yeah, I pay to see that.
I already miss Johnny.
Yeah, a lot of people giving him a hard time too. Why? His wife just had a baby.
Well, they didn't renew his contract. I mean, so he can't really be on TV.
Not to. Yeah.
Well, that's right. It was his decision. That's right. He has not, I mean, maybe he'll come back. I don't know. I doubt it at this point, because most of the guys in AEW are like his buddies. They all work Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. They all worked a lot of those indies together.
And you know what? Now that Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, I think that's the perfect place for Johnny Gargano.
I'd love that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Be really good.
Yeah. So, but he is going to be at WrestleCon. I did see that. So, but yeah, I mean, people were actually giving him flack about that. Like, his wife just had a baby. Let the man take a break. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, God.
Yeah. You're trying to push Candace back into the ring too? Like, God, let him enjoy the baby. God, they got paid. They got paid in the WWE. They can take some time off and not worry about it. It's
exactly. So with that being said, NXT's already on final show before their show on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday afternoon. So there's a big week of wrestling ahead. Either way, I think it's going to be fun. We'll probably be disappointed in some ways. Hit, here, Mahan. Hit.
Oh my God. That is in my head now. That is happening now.
Yeah, so thank y'all for joining us. I had a great time along with Tim. After I stop recording, don't leave, okay?
Okay. Just see you later.
So, anyways, like, subscribe, share to our YouTube channel, Facebook. We're on Twitter, Instagram. Just tell everybody how awesome we are. Again, thank you to Tim for joining us. You could take a listen to his podcast, The Movie Council, and where else can they find you and where you can find The Movie Council at?
We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, and we're actually not on YouTube as of yet, but iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
Okay. All right. And we'll definitely have Tim back on again, hopefully with Tina in tow. So y'all have a great WrestleMania week. Again, be good and be careful, and we will see y'all. I will be on next Monday at 7. I will have another guest on. I'm going out of town next week. This is why we're doing it on a Monday. I'm going out of town Thursday, and I'm going to be on a show Tuesday. So I will keep y'all updated on that as it gets close. So until then, we say goodbye. See ya.